Good afternoon. Hello to all of our friends and customers, and thank you for inviting us to your home today. My name is Patty Dominguez, and I am Vice President of Architectural and Design for Cosentino, North America. Welcome to our seminar today, The Rise of Outdoor Kitchens, Profit from the Outside. Cosentino is very proud and honored to host this virtual event for you today. Even prior to a most unprecedented 2020, the outdoor living category saw strong and steady growth, which then skyrocketed as homeowners began investing in at-home upgrades and experiences. I think all of us can relate how much we appreciate a nice outdoor space and being able to enjoy those moments with our families. As we look to 2021 and beyond, the demand of outdoor living spaces is forecasted to not only stay, but to grow, regardless of the climate. We hope that today's discussion with this esteemed panel of industry experts will inspire and educate and provide you with the insights to further profit from the outside. I am now delighted to introduce to you our moderator, a dear friend of Cosentino, and our interior designer, John McClain. Welcome, John, who is joining us from his home in sunny LA. John has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Martha Stewart Living, Apartment Therapy, Interior Design, and much more. We are very grateful for you to be hosting and moderating this for us. And as you know, you're a dear friend of Cosentino. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Next, I would like to introduce our first panelist. Before I introduce them, I want to say that it's always a privilege when you have the opportunity to introduce people that you not only admire, but you also have a friendship with. I'll start with Matt. Matt Herbert is the president and founder of Sherwood Outdoor Kitchens in Vancouver. Hi, Matt. Matt is specialized in design for kitchens since high school. He has an amazing dedication, and I can speak of that firsthand, as I had the pleasure of working with Matt at Cosentino a few years ago when he worked as one of our sales managers. He had this amazing vision and always wanted to do something on his own. And now in Vancouver is running an amazing company that he founded, with outdoor kitchens. So excited to have you, Matt, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Patty.
Next, I'd like to introduce to you our dear friend, Young Huh. Young, who is a familiar name to many of you. She is an amazing and beautiful designer out of New York. Young has been in 1919 and 1920. She was included in Elle Decor's prestigious A-list. She was named one of Vogue's 5 interior designers on the rise. She was included as a finalist in the Andrew Martin Design Review volume. In 2011, she won the Connecticut Cottages and Gardens Innovation Design Award. Young is a dear friend of Cosentino's and now is part of the Cosentino Design Alliance. And I am very excited to see you and have you here with us today. Welcome, Young.
Thanks, Patty.
And last, but certainly not least, is my dear friend, Daniel Germani. Daniel is the creative director and founder of Daniel Germani Designs, which is a multidisciplinary design studio, which he founded in 2008. Daniel is an architect by nature from Argentina. And if we had enough time, I would spend telling you many countless stories of fun and adventures that I have had personally with Daniel. Daniel is a creative director for Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens and Denver, as well as T-Rex. And he designs products for amazing companies like Gandia Blasco, Riva, and of course, Decton. Daniel has won a plethora of awards like Best of Year Design, NYX, the KBIS Design Award, Kitchen and Bath, Architectural Digest, and on and on and on. Daniel is a dear friend, and for Cosentino, we consider him family. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello, Patty. So good to be here. So humbled by your presentation.
Thank you. And now I will send it off to you, John.
Thank you, Patty. Well, hello, everybody watching. Welcome to the KBIS Virtual, and thank you for that great message from our sponsor, Cosentino. We love you guys. As Patty said, I'm John McClain. I'm the moderator, but I'm also a very inquisitive interior designer, and I have lots of questions today for this fabulous panel. I have offices in LA and in Florida, so this topic of conversation for outdoor spaces is very top of mind for me and my team. So I'm really, really excited to talk about this today. So the topic, of course, is the rise of outdoor kitchens, profit from the outside. And I think whether you're a designer, an installer, a product developer, or retailer, you probably have noticed an increase in the outdoor kitchen space. I know that I have. A recent poll by House even showed that consumers are now asking for their indoor kitchen to be more open to the outdoors. But to take that concept a little bit further, here's a really interesting statistic. 82% of survey participants in a Harris poll, which was completed by Brown Jordan Outdoor Kitchens, said that their interest in outdoor living spaces is even higher than it was pre-pandemic. I can relate. But here's where the profit part of our presentation comes in today. Only 21% of these homeowners surveyed said that they actually made those updates to their outdoor living spaces back in 2020, which tells me there's a huge opportunity for the industry as we head into 2021. So listen up, there's a lot of great things to be said today. Today's panelists are going to give us their insight on how the outdoor space plays such a pivotal role in our homes' functionality and comfort, from conception to design to product choices. We're going to break down this outdoor space and hopefully enlighten you along the way to bring more profits to your business this year, which is what we all want, right? A quick housekeeping note before we get started. At the bottom of the screen, you guys watching, we're going to see a chat function and a Q&A function. We're going to be taking questions from both places, so please comment throughout the entire presentation today, and we will get to your questions at the very end. So keep those questions coming, and we want to hear what they are. So let's get started with our fabulous panel. Young, I'm going to kick it off with you today. I know in the markets that I work in, outdoor projects are on the rise in both areas for me. You're specifically in the New York area. Have you seen an increase in client requests to include outdoor spaces in the overall project scope?
Absolutely. We've seen actually a really bizarre and unexpected flight outside of the city. Everyone's buying houses in Connecticut, New Jersey, as far as Massachusetts and onwards. People are looking for homes with outdoor spaces. So people are thinking about gardens, about getting space, not being cramped in the city. And I think, for a very long time, city living was on the rise because you could minimize the amount of time you spent in the city in your apartment and go out, go to museums, go to restaurants. But unfortunately, all those places are closed. So we're seeing this, really jaw-droppingly shocking number of people buy homes outside of the city. One of the first things they think about is outdoor spaces. Where am I going to have my table? Where am I going to have a pool? Should I build a pool house? Should I build an outdoor kitchen? So these are things that people weren't thinking about a year ago, but it's very top of mind now.
Yeah, the lines are really blurring, aren't they, between the indoor and outdoor spaces? It's so interesting how that really just melds together in a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, so I'm going to jump over to you. You're in a completely different market. You're in Vancouver, British Columbia, and you specifically focus on outdoor projects only. Has your business grown, and what kind of projects are you getting asked most about?
So since we started Sherwood 5 years ago, every year we've grown. But this is the busiest January, February we've ever had. We're seeing a huge demand for multifamily projects, so penthouses and apartments, and communal areas for them kind of larger projects. So even in apartment living, people are looking to maximize kind of the minimal outdoor space they may have. They're looking to kind of maximize that, as well as a big uptake in residential projects. We're finding that most people now in high-end homes are looking to make the outdoor kitchen a standard addition to the project, and they're looking to really start that right at the design phase, where probably 5 years ago it used to be the add-on, but now it's becoming kind of a standard part of the project. Again, as to kind of what Young said, people are looking to kind of have staycations more at home and reevaluating how they go out and entertain. So where it used to be a restaurant, now they're looking to say, well, how can we bring that kind of fun, entertaining into our back garden, into our home?
Yeah, the outdoor space has really become lots of entertaining requirements, such as dining, entertainment. I know people are putting outdoor theaters and, of course, television. So there's all kinds of things happening. But, you know, the kitchen, of course, is the heart of the home. And I think that that's so great that they're understanding to bring the kitchen into the outdoors as well. And it's just as vital and important out there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Young, I'm going to switch it back to you. You are a fabulous, accomplished, award-winning designer, and I love that you create exquisite design visions for your projects. What is your best advice for the designers in the audience? We have a lot of you guys out there, thank you, on how to integrate that vision for both the indoors and the outdoors, and really how to create an overall happy space and productive space for our clients.
Well, I think, you know, as a designer developing, whether it's residential or commercial spaces, you're sort of like the concert master. You have to figure out how to create the symphony. So what do you have? What are the tools you can use? What music are you playing? And, you know, we're very well versed on how to do this in the indoors, but now take it outdoors, especially because now everyone wants to experience these outdoor living spaces and to connect with the outdoors. So how do I integrate the outdoors with the interior? This is an image of a bar that we did in Turks and Caicos. You see these cherry blossoms. It's still very modern. It's very jazzy. We have these bar stools that are evocative of outdoor furniture. And the bar is completely open to the outdoors. It's just never closed.
Wow.
So you have a view of the gardens, you have a view of the outdoor lounge spaces. So I think it's really important. You can still have a very interior, you know, use the same kind of interior tools, but you want to connect with the outside. You want to maximize it. You want it to feel very thoughtful, very articulated, and really heighten your senses. I think, like, for instance, the most magnificent gardens that we've ever been in are not just completely natural. They look a little natural, but they're really manipulated. So this is your chance to manipulate nature so that we can commune with it and relate to it and increase its beauty, but still being a part of the natural world.
You know, what I think is so fabulous about what you just said and what you just showed us is that you would never know unless you had told us that that was an outdoor kitchen. It really does look like an interior space that could be in someone's home. And the fact that you have been able to create that and to really blur the lines between maybe even your selections that you choose for those spaces and then the final product to where no one would be the wiser that that was an outdoor space is really, really just a huge accomplishment. So congrats on that. I love that. I love that so much. I want to see more. So show me some more examples of how your outdoor space fits so seamlessly into the project. I got to see more.
Well, here you go. So we have these garden areas. To the right is sort of more of a wild garden. And to the left, you see these individual lounge spaces that are terraced. We have different kinds of lighting, which you can't really see here, but it's really, oh, there you go, to sort of really maximize the sense of depth, of mystery, of excitement. You know, you can really create this kind of vibe in your home. You can feel sexy and excited being in your garden. And I think this is what people are looking for. Like, we can't go to as many bars and rooftop gatherings as we used to. So why not create this kind of, you know, slightly clubby, but very natural environment in your own space. So, you know, you really want to fold your interiors, your furniture, your textiles into the garden. so that it's woven into a really complete experience.
And you did. I really just want to grab a cocktail from that bar and sit down in one of those chairs. It's just lovely. Such great examples. So in the midst of developing this entire design plan and from start to finish, of course, we as designers, we have to work with a lot of different people along the way. And there's so many experts that we partner with, honestly, even outside of our own internal design team, right? So who do you partner with, or who do you like to partner with? And at what point do you involve those people or those companies from the point when the client calls you until the point where you move on? Where do you bring in these other experts to really bring your vision to life?
This is where I think the NKBA is so amazing. You know, I was fairly new to the NKBA up until about 5 years ago. And I really think that they do amazing things to educate designers. And, you know, I think it's really important for your average designer like me who, you know, does 7
You're not
a
average.
year. Thanks. But, you know, I'm not doing, you know, 10 kitchens a month like my friend Richard Anaskiets and, you know, or Matt, and, you know, so I think really turn to people who are expert in this. Look for certified designers, look for a showroom that has a certified designer. I think it behooves designers to connect to people who do this every day, who are expert. And you'll know the latest. What's the coolest appliance, Matt? What's the coolest thing that I don't know about? I missed KBIS this year. What is happening in the world? I want to give my client the best experience in terms of the best appliances, the best know-how. So definitely, this is the group, the people who have logged on, reach out to them. These are the people you want to connect with.
You know, so many times I think our clients look to us to be the experts in what we do and to really know all the facets of everything that's involved. And we, of course, want to make ourselves and our firms look really great as a design firm, but all of the other people behind the scenes who really help to make us look great are so important to what we do. So that's a great segue, Matt, into, so Matt, that's a great segue into your area of expertise. So we're hearing from Young and everyone else that clients really want all the bells and whistles and really the same design considerations on their outdoor kitchens or their indoor kitchens for their outdoor kitchens. And personally, I have my go-tos. I'm sure Young does as well for all the various components that are needed to be considered for the outdoor kitchens, like appliances, surface materials. One of my favorites is Decton, of course. But Matt, what design considerations have you specifically seen, and how do you make those come to life for your clients?
So I think really kind of coming back from my interior background, really understanding the form and function of a kitchen is really important. And the same way you design an interior kitchen, you really need to ask the questions, kind of how the client intends to use the space, because an outdoor kitchen can be used very differently to an interior kitchen. People can be entertaining for 10, 20, 30 people at a time. And really kind of asking what kind of parties they're going to be hosting. Are they going to be champagne and cocktails, or is it going to be like an all-out Super Bowl Sunday? Like how the appliances you would apply to each one of them kind of scenarios would be very different. So really asking the questions and understanding your client and how they want to use the space. Countertop space is really important when it comes to an outdoor kitchen. When you're hosting pizzas and parties, and you really want to make sure you've got each zone kind of accounted for. Again, outdoors, the materials that we use are very different to interiors. They're outdoors 24/7. I mean, the Pacific Northwest where we are, it's classified as a rainforest, so it's very, very humid. An outdoor kitchen is a demanding environment, so lots of heat, lots of grease. The Decton, again, we use almost on every project that we do, and it's really taking them considerations in how this is going to perform year on year is really key. Stainless steel metal cabinetry is really important as well. It's like really focusing on the durability of the materials we use.
I love that, and all those things are so crucial into blending the outdoor and indoor spaces. You know, continuity is important too when you're bringing and bridging that gap between indoor, outdoor, especially if a lot of people have living spaces now that open completely up to their exterior spaces. So what if you are brought on and you, Matt, are hired only for the outside project and maybe the interior project has already been completed? So how do you create that continuity if you're brought on basically after the fact? Because that seems to be happening a little bit these days.
So one of the key questions we get all the time is people are wanting to match their interior appliances to their outdoors, and a lot of the high-end appliance manufacturers like Wolf and Heston now have dedicated outdoor ranges. So it's very easy to kind of get that to match, and once you kind of go from the interior to the outdoors, it's got the same high-end premium feel. Everything kind of matches.
Perfect. So that's a great way to basically bridge the gap between those two situations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one more thing, Matt, I wanted to ask you, have you seen the manufacturer side of things? Have you seen them really kick it up a notch to meet consumer demand? For instance, we mentioned Decton. It's a highly multifunctional material. It can be used for multiple applications, from countertops to even furniture to exterior facades. What else have you seen that really gets you excited in the world of outdoor products?
Appliances are, again, moving forward massively. And the specialist appliances like pizza ovens and wok burners, charcoal grills, I think the thing that these specialist appliances add is they add a new level of experience to an outdoor kitchen, which you just don't kind of get with an interior. So if we look at that kind of picture there, we've got a 54-inch grill, and this client was definitely a Super Bowl Sunday kind of guy. So he's got a power burner there because he's got a lake just to the left, and he kind of did lots of crab boils, and so these appliances allow you a whole different experience to what you can achieve on the indoors. So we've seen a lot more. Again, all these big appliance manufacturers now have dedicated outdoor lines, and it allows you to kind of have a whole different way of cooking and entertaining than what you can do in the interiors. Again, the materials that we use, Decton, we use for cladding. We've even used it for the new slim material. We've actually used it for doors. So we can really kind of have a really durable, high-performing look that we've not been able to achieve before with outdoors. It's very, very stone-heavy, typically. Kind of outdoor kitchens have been done previously in the past by landscapers, contractors, but now we've got the materials and the options to really kind of add a very kind of refined look to the outside, which has not really been possible in the past.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that all those innovations only make our jobs as designers and even installers and kitchen designers in the outdoor arena even more interesting. So I agree with you 100%. I'm going to switch it over to Daniel now. Daniel, I'm dying to talk to you. You have such a great reputation for being really at the forefront of innovative designs. I know Decton, for instance, is very near and dear to your heart with two great collections in your partnership with them. But can you give us a few examples, Daniel, of projects that maybe you've worked on that have redefined how we may think about outdoor design possibilities?
Well, obviously the partnership with Decton has been something of a beautiful ride, and working with a material that is so versatile, and as you saw in Young's project or in Matt's project, I mean, it's a surface that definitely stands among any other surfaces, and with all the benefits, durability, and the color never fading, and stain free and grease free. I mean, it's all of those things. The zero porosity that it has also helps a lot, you know, to live outdoors. But we also, what we do is when, you know, I also have another side of my business, which is I design furniture and collections for different companies abroad. This is a collection that I designed for Gandia Blasco, and obviously we partner with one of my first moves when I started working with Gandia Blasco was partner with Decton, because it's the best surface for all our furniture. And so with keeping with what Young was saying in regards to keeping like the flow of the indoors into the outdoors, we always have that in mind when we design outdoor furniture. today there is no boundary to design outdoor furniture because materiality is all there. The advances of the technology are all there. And as you can see in these examples, this is a partnership with Riva 1920, and we're using Decton, and it's a material that, again, maybe some people know it only for outdoor use, but it's a material that looks incredible indoors. So we can do stunning pieces of furniture that in another time, the surfaces would only be quartz or it would be marbles. Now Decton gives you this versatility to pair with everything. So for me, design obviously plays a big part into what is happening outdoors. My work it's all about outdoors. Somehow I ended up in this channel like doing this. This is another piece that we did with the last piece that you show. If you can show it again, that piece, it's a throne. We call it the throne, the cocoon. But anyway, it's a cocoon that we designed for Gandia Blasco, and we apply Pietra di Vicenza, which is a beautiful stone from the Veneto region, very used by Palladio. And so the versatility is there for all materials. It's just about bringing fantasy into the fold. And we love to collaborate with designers. And my feedback is, every time that I design something, I have in mind the feedback from the designers that use the products. Because for me, if you design products that then at the end of the day don't serve the purpose that they were designed for, then I failed miserably. So that is one of my biggest things. I listen a lot. I pay attention to what people use. I pay attention to what happens in the market. I pay attention to what happens in everything, in fashion, in music, in urban wear, because all of that gives you the tone and the music of what is happening in design. I think design affects all our lives, from the sweater we wear to the toilet paper dispenser in your bathroom. So everything can make a statement, and everything has to be designed, and it needs to function. So that's a beautiful ride that I'm in.
That is so great. And I love that you kind of look at it from that granular level, where it really does boil it down to the basics and why we need those designs in our lives and how those designs really affect our lives. And you mentioned all the different brands, Gandia Blasco and Brown Jordan, that you work with. Continuity, and you touched on it just a bit, but continuity between those indoor spaces and those outdoor spaces, I feel like you are really blurring those lines in a beautiful way, because the furniture and the products that you're designing honestly would be just as gorgeous inside a home. And so tell me a little bit more about the continuity and how you sort of take on that role of designing products that meld that division between the continuity between indoor and outdoor.
Well, I touched a little bit already on the Decton side, but when it comes to product like outdoor kitchens or outdoor furniture, everything has, there was a funny situation in Salone, of course not 2020, but 2019, where we were presenting Solanas, that collection, and it was painting in a very light white gold finish with fabrics that they were like a boucle, like a beautiful null boucle. And people were stopping by the booth and saying, those look like indoor. It looks like an indoor collection. And I say, well, you'll be welcome to use it wherever you want. And right now, that is what is happening. The line is completely blurred. And it happens to me across everything that I do in product design. It happens with Decton, that is super versatile, and Matt already touched on that. Again, we use it on tabletops. We use it on accents on furniture. It happens with outdoor kitchens, that we are providing in our cabinetry. And again, it's so good that we have Matt here, because we work with Matt a lot with all our companies, and we provide details into the kitchens that are exactly like what you have inside in the house. And what is happening right now is that as much as I see, of course, we all see that indoors is going out in terms of furniture firms. I mean, we know B&B 10 years ago, 12 years ago, started with like beautiful outdoor collections, and then followed everybody, and all the way to FlexForm launching its first collection last year. And all of these things are happening, of the indoor companies are catching up on the momentum of like what is happening outside to go out. But it's also happening for us that we do out to go inside. And so what we're finding is, for example, some of the kitchens that we design, they're being used in flooding zones or in houses by the beach. Why? Because when you have a house that you don't visit all year round and you have wood cabinetry, it doesn't matter what kind of wood you put there. It will expand, it will contract, it will warp, the finish will lose their magic. And so what we do is, with the technology that we have at hand, with beautiful powder coat finishes and with beautiful resilient finishes, you can do anything. And so the interiors of the kitchens that we're doing are the ones that we're doing inside. We have soft light hinges, soft light slides. We have you can powder coat the inside. You can do your drawers in walnut. You can do your drawers in whatever finish you decide. And we do custom finishes also. And for me, it has been a privilege in the role that I have with the Denver family of brands to be able to also pair some of our finishes in Decton to the finishes we use in powder coat. Why? Because sometimes that is also the whole idea of the kitchen being this stuffy, with the pony wall and with the big brick finishes and fake stones and all of that is moving away. And now you can create really bold, beautiful, modern outdoor kitchens that could perfectly be inside. And we use the 4 millimeters, as Matt was saying, to do doors. And so literally the sky is the limit when you're designing now for outdoors.
I love that. And I love that, I think durability and just the construction of things are so important to clients these days. And it may not be obviously on the surface for them to see right away, but it's all these things that you take into consideration as a product designer and as a designer in the outdoor world that really makes a difference in their lives, whether the consumer or the end user really realizes it or not, right? All those beautiful details are sort of hidden behind the scenes and may not be in their face every time. So you are this expert in the outdoor world. Is there anything that's really exciting you right now in outdoor design? Anything that really gets you super pumped about what's going on, other than all the great things that you've mentioned already?
Well, the beautiful thing is that now, because of the expansion of outdoors, you can get incredible designers like Young and Matt doing beautiful stuff outside. And so that, I think, it's one of the big perks of what is happening. You start getting the eye of people that have a very curated and very educated eye and bring it to the outdoors. More than ever now, when we design kitchens, for example, in cities like New York or Chicago, we got requests to do multifamily buildings, like in buildings. And in buildings, it used to be that the gym was a big feature. Right now is the terrace with a cooking place, with like an entertainment space. People want to escape their apartments and have some time, in the outdoors. And so buildings more than ever are providing with these, and we provide solutions for that. Again, in terms of technology, the lines are completely blurred right now, what could happen indoor and outdoors. This is a kitchen that we just launched with Brown Jordan, and the series called Elements. And this is a totally built from head to toe in stainless steel, and the top is in Decton. And as you can see, this is one of the last colors that I designed for the last collection for Decton Chromica. And we match the doors to the top. And what this provides is that it changed completely the design of outdoor kitchens. Kitchens used to be against the wall, the bar on the other side, the tall benches. Right now, there is a more easy living sort of feeling. These kitchens have functionality on both sides, so you can go around. So in terms of what is exciting, it's like everything is exciting. Technology is exciting. Like you can get like literally furniture that, again, that sits in going out, but you can have now furniture that usually is designed for outdoors and can totally sit inside. You explore collections of Paola Lenti or our collections are Gandia, or you explore, I don't know, Quetal, or you B&B or Casina, and they're all collections that you really don't know. I mean, they could be out or they could be in. So Appliances are a big thing right now. People are, we custom our kitchens to outdoor kitchens to all the new perks because people are spending time on cooking. And so now there is the egg that people want, the Evo, the sous vide cooker, the steam cooker. I mean, everything is designed to be outdoors. They want the refrigeration outdoors. So I think everything is exciting. But what I'm most excited about is having the eye of people like Young and Matt exploring and really blowing our heads out on the outside, because we design for that. If they find use and they find it appealing, we are just giving tools. I am giving tools to them and they are giving tools to us in terms of how we design. So it's exciting. I think it's a great moment right now.
I agree. And I think the collaboration between where your role is in the outdoor world and where designers' roles are is just, it's amazing how we as designers and everyone else can take those products and really put those into innovative places that perhaps you didn't even expect them to be when you designed them, right? It's just so fun.
Some of our pieces of furniture end up being indoors and you're like, okay, that looks beautiful. And, or in hotel lobbies or, the most unexpected places, and so it's a fun time to be designing. It's a fine time to be an architect. It's a fine time to be a designer because the possibilities are endless, absolutely endless. And so yeah, it's a good time.
I agree. And so before we head into our live Q&A, I'm going to ask each one of you on the panel to share one solid piece of advice to the audience watching on really how to sell the outdoor spaces into projects. So how do you sell this outdoor design into your current projects, and really how to build this side of your design business, which is why we're all here today. We're not running non-for-profits. We all have to make a living. So let's figure out how we're going to do that. So Young, I want to start with you and ask you to share a piece of advice to the audience on how to sell the outdoor space to our clients.
Well, it doesn't take too much these days. You really sell the fact that you gain 2, 3, 4 rooms outside when you create outdoor spaces. You can have a kitchen, you can have lounges, you can have a pool area, you can do lots of things outside. And outdoor furniture, thank you, Daniel, is really expensive. So
we have to make a living too, Young. You're leaving, I have to make a living too.
It adds up. You can't help but to make money when you move outside.
I know. I'm sorry.
It will last forever, Daniel. Don't apologize. It's great stuff. Matt, I want to ask you the same question. What advice do you have for everyone on how to sell the outdoor space into their current projects?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, just treating the outdoor kitchen as you would an interior, and taking the same kind of form and function and asking the right questions. I think when people start to kind of see that what's possible with the designs for outdoors, and I think people really start to kind of get excited. And once you get people excited, normally that results in a sale.
I agree. And I think, clients, I always say they don't know what they don't know. And it's up to us as designers and product innovators and installers and all these different roles to really enlighten our clients on that. So I think that that's definitely part of the process. Daniel, same question to you. You're coming from a slightly different angle, of course, from the perspective, but how do we sell your products in the outdoor spaces? What do we do to increase the sales in outside spaces for our clients?
I think that research is basic. Learning what's in the market. There is so much out there. Everything to every budget. There is availability of like the super expensive sofa that could go for the same money that an indoor sofa goes. But I think it's about doing research. It's about learning about what's out there and making educated choices. And thank God Matt didn't say the kitchens were expensive, because then I would be 2 for 2. But I don't know. I think it's just there is something for every style, and it's our responsibilities when I have a client to do design that they get the best product for their money. So it's on us at the end of the day.
I agree. So before we run out of time, let's jump to some of our questions. We have a lot of questions popping in. And first of all, thank you all. This has been such a great and fun discussion. I hope that all of you in the audience have some great takeaways, you know, not only to the importance of the outdoor spaces for our clients, but also really to the financial success of our businesses. So let's jump to some of the questions that we have. And they're coming in now. All right, I'm not getting my chat, you guys, on the other side of things. There we go. Here we go. All right, it just popped up from everyone. There's so many. Okay, Matt, so we have a lot of questions about climate. How can we extend the use of our backyards in cold climates and keep them looking nice while your pool is covered for the winter season?
So we often, of course, it being very rainy in Vancouver, we often do a lot of covered kitchens. And then you can integrate kind of heaters. There's some very nice heaters. I know Bromic do some very nice integrated heaters now, and they're not the big old kind of fashioned ones. And you can really make a modern covered outdoor space that can be used all year round. We are pretty mild here for temperatures in Vancouver. So as long as it's covered, it's the rain that's a real issue over here. But again, having that covered space really allows that kitchen to be used all year round.
Perfect. Let's talk to you, Young, on how important is, this question is for you, how important is the outdoor space / design to the overall value of the home? I think this is a really great question.
Oh yeah, I think outdoor spaces sell a home. You're adding another room, you're adding additional rooms, you're sort of adding square footage to living space. A house that has outdoor space that's really beautiful, gardens that support it, that's going to sell the house. I think it adds a tremendous amount of value. And buy expensive furniture because cheaper furniture does get mangled. I've experienced that. So, you know, go for the
I
best.
agree. You get what you pay for, right? Exactly. Before we run out of time, Daniel, this question is for you. Can large format porcelain slabs be used along with Decton for different interests, using different textures and colors to kind of blend them all together?
Different porcelain what?
Porcelain slabs. Can we pair porcelain slabs with Decton to create more of a visual interest?
I mean, yeah, you can use Decton for create. I mean, we have so many textures and so many colors that you can, I mean, you can create any palette or any fantasy you want to create. So yeah, I don't see why not.
So pairing them together is not a problem for you. Perfect.
I'm not sure what they mean by porcelain surfaces. That's the only thing that I'm confused
It's
about.
the large format porcelain slabs that are, you know, on the market these days. So they're saying basically, I think you answered the question very well, that you can blend it all together. It's based on the material and the pattern and the style and so forth. So, well, we're at the end, you guys. That is all the time we have for your questions. Sorry we didn't get to all of them. There were a lot, but thank you for submitting them. Special thanks to Young, Matt, and Daniel for sharing this marvelous insight. It's just been amazing. Thank you, Cosentino, for sponsoring today's panel discussion. And a really big thank you to all of you out there for joining us today. Please visit the Cosentino booth for even more inspiration. And really, I just want you to enjoy the entire KBIS show. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Enjoy.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.